On the surface, it goes like this. American patriot, West Point graduate, and Texas native Edwin Walker was dutifully working on his taxes at his rambling Dallas home on the night of April 10th, 1963. Little did he know, he claims, ex-Marine, ex-Soviet defector Lee Harvey Oswald was lining up Walker through the scope of his Mannlicher Carcano, the same weapon that will ostensibly kill President Kennedy that November. Dave Roos of History.com follows the Warren Report script this way. Around 9 p.m., Oswald was positioned behind the picket fence outside of Walker's house. He probably couldn't believe his good fortune. Walker was seated at his desk, doing his income taxes, his head perfectly framed by the upstairs window, just 120 feet from Oswald's rifle. Oswald pulled the trigger, and a sharp crack exploded behind Walker's head. At first, Walker thought some neighborhood rascal had thrown a firecracker at his window, but then the career soldier realized what was happening. He grabbed his pistol and ran outside, at which point he noticed blood pooling on his shirt sleeve from glass and metal shrapnel from the broken window. The Dallas police correctly categorized the shooting as an assassination attempt, but their investigation turned up no suspects. Oswald retrieved his stashed rifle and likely fumed over the missed opportunity. It was such an easy shot, especially for a former Marine like Oswald. There are some problems here. A teenage witness, Walter Coleman, identified 3 men outside the house at the time, with 2 escaping in a Ford and the other pushing something down onto the floorboard of a 1958 Chevy. That car was parked in an adjacent Mormon church parking lot before taking off. Supposed assassin Oswald did not have a driver's license and perhaps didn't even know how to drive. But what of Jack Ruby? Just a couple hundred feet from General Walker's rambling Turtle Creek Boulevard house was the residence of a Samuel Gilbert at 4344 Avondale. According to a witness statement for the HSCA, Samuel Gilbert's quote-unquote best friend was Jack Ruby. The witness was the daughter of Gilbert's live-in housekeepers, Mr. and Mrs. Boggs. Mrs. Boggs frequently made dinner for Ruby. Gilbert even wanted Ruby to move in, but Mrs. Boggs did not want the burden of cleaning for another person. Gilbert was an aerial photographer in World War II. He had a dark room at his Avondale residence he normally kept locked. He was friends, according to Stollard, this is the witness for the HSCA, with friends with H.L. Hunt, banker Fred Florence, and sexploitation movie producer Russ Meyer. He was considered a, quote, mysterious man. According to Stollard, her parents and other neighbors saw a man running through the alley behind General Walker's house immediately after the shooting. Mr. and Mrs. Boggs thought it was possible the man took refuge in Gilbert's darkroom. The same report also mentions Gilbert was involved in the anti-Castro Cuban exile community, frequently visited New Orleans, and was friends with Dave Ferry. At this point, one cannot help if Stollard is inserting public domain information post factum. Stollard also noted Gilbert had Cuban and Israeli passports. He was allegedly trying to raise money for jeeps for Cuba and help rescue prisoners from Cuba. In 1962, Gilbert feared for his life, believing he was a mafia target. He paid the elderly Mr. Boggs $10 to ride with him on trips, such as delivering strawberries to H.L. Hunt's residence. After Ruby was arrested for shooting Oswald, Gilbert, quote, just about passed out. He was very involved in raising money for Ruby's legal team. The report also stated Gilbert lost all of his money shortly after the president's assassination. Gilbert, Stollard's statement says, died by apparent suicide in 1964 at a rehab facility across from Baylor Hospital. Apparently only 6 people attended his funeral. But how much credence can we give all this? Gilbert's death was not 1964, but May 1965. Gilbert died at the Dallas VA, and his death is not listed as suicide, but uremia, kidney failure. Stollard claimed both the Rubensteins and Gilbert's moved from Poland to the U.S. together. Gilbert's death certificate indicates he was born in Poland in 1919, about 8 years after Jacob Leon Rubenstein was born in Chicago. Gilbert's address on the death certificate is on Lover's Lane in Dallas. Stollard and her husband rented another house on Lover's Lane from Gilbert. The death certificate also corroborates Gilbert's profession as photographer and lists he was a Dallas resident since 1947, the same year Rubenstein relocated to Dallas as Jack Ruby. In 1946, Sam Gilbert was arrested in Oklahoma for vagrancy with members of the Weinberg Gang, including narcotics smuggler Paul Roland Jones of the Chicago Mob, a known associate of Ruby's. Walker's aide, do I want to go into all this? Like the president's, one can find Sam Gilbert's grave at Arlington National Cemetery.